Hey, what's going on? So, I've been looking at chassis for the JLU and the C10 just to get better shock mounting, and I decided against that and went with making my own tool so I could remount shocks. So, on the front of this guy, a little awkward there. You can see that position right there. See, there's the normal screw behind it. That's where a lot of people would put it, but it actually ends up raising your height of your vehicle more than you want. It's pretty bad, for especially if you're like climbing hills and whatnot. So just to get that little offset there, I've taken one of these. It's from a servo kit for 1/10. I've chopped out this little piece right here. So I'm going to zoom in here. Alright, so we're looking at that switch, lever, whatever from the servo. I chopped it down so I could get this little guy. It's kind of hard to see. The dimensions are almost perfect for what I needed. So what I do is so you can get that in there. Perfect. So I take all this off, I undo this guy, thread this little piece into there, somewhat in there, and it actually ends up giving me a nice jig, I guess you could call it. A hole to drill through perfectly into there, line it up with the frame, punch your hole with the 1/16 drill bit, it's perfect. Do it on the other side. And then you're going to need something to stick in there. That guy right there. This piece. I made these. Then they slide right into the back of the chassis. No problem. Get a nice mounting point, good and solid. Doesn't twist, doesn't turn. You can chop it so you can make it pretty square so it fits in that little flex slot. And yeah, that's the next thing here. For your back mount, you don't really have to do anything. Just use your battery tray mount right there. It's perfect. That angle. I kind of tried to match it up to the front here. Use the frickin', what do you call them, calipers to get the same distance from here to here, and it ends up being like right there. This one's almost perfect, but it needs to be just over a little bit, or your front end sticks up way too high. So I'm going to do that now, drill some holes, put on a new one of these. It just came today. Put them together. Oh, also something else I've noticed on your links. Let's see here if we can see that. Notice it only has rubber on one side here. I've been messing around the past few days. I haven't made a video in 2 weeks or so. I've been taking shocks apart. Been taking this thing's links, moving them, switching them, testing them, and finally got it to a way where it doesn't seem to be constricting at all. So it actually twists. I'm noticing that with rubbers on both sides of those, I don't even know if they're called a grommet or whatever they are, those little brass bushings, it prevents you from getting twists. So like, you'll get your normal twist, but then like once you get past that point, you'll notice it starts binding. It'll go more, but it doesn't want to. There's something preventing it. And that's what those little rubber rings are doing. It's taken a while to figure out, but I took this thing on the carpet mounted today, and I was kind of just giggly at how fucking crazy it was, just tackling some stuff that it was unable to tackle before because it just roll. And now it's like, as you can see, it's low CG. Like it's doesn't get any lower than that. But its legs are huge. Like they're so long. and its twist is like unimpeded now. It's just, it's nuts. So I've left the Gladiator. I haven't been messing too much with it, but I did take out the bushings on the shocks, on the top of the shocks. I guess on both sides, on one side of the shock. So it's really got some gnarly twist. Because it's so long, I didn't feel I needed to take the Lynx rubber out. Like it's good enough. So with this is the next project really, but I'm gonna relocate, and I think just relocating the shocks. I'm gonna keep stock shocks on this guy. It's the 4-wheel steer, 3-position on the rear. But I'm thinking with just the links and the shock moving is gonna add so much articulation. And one thing I'm noticing too, yeah, there we go. Oh, kinda. So on these 3-link suspension up front, they're pretty trash for grinding on your drive shaft. So if you file them down a little bit, take them off, just grab a bastard file, which is a round one, and then just file off a little bit. You can get rid of that. So I got one of these little file sets off Amazon. These are diamond, which are really nice for working with plastics and really small pieces like this if you want to get them really cleaned up and nice. So take the round one, and you just kind of open that up a little more. It's hard to see, sorry, getting the light bad. Yeah, you open that up a bit more so it actually stops the rubbing. Or you'll find once you get flexy, there's a point where you get to and it just starts grinding on here. You'll notice your truck hopping. And you're like, what the hell's going on? It's this piece. Just looking at the truck before I drill it, you can see that little piece. Come on, like right there. Little plastic piece right beside the shock, right there. I took out the screw, mounted it. Now I just drill through the second hole. Super, super easy. And then I have my shock placement. Alright, holes drilled, shocks are mounted. New links are on. Get a little more articulation. And took out the front tint on this thing. Not the best trim job, but whatever. You can actually see what's inside of it now. On the side. Can't even tell there's anything in there.
Oh, there they are.
So that's its new ride height. If it'll center the pins there, 1 second. Alright, one thing I did too is I took a black marker and kind of marked half the top of that ESC there, receiver combo. Black. So when it's closed you can't see it anymore. So I dropped the front pins down, I think 2 notches, maybe just 1 notch, but it gives the truck, as you can see, kind of a more of a natural truck stance where the box was a little bit higher, you know, to support weight. So I'm gonna see how that does now with that shock tower placement hole drilled. It's a very twisty, it's very nice. See how that does out on the hill here. Go see what she do.
What she do?